Well, I probably have a little bit over a couple $100 left from the stimulus check. Um, I basically been, well, I probably spent about 40, maybe $50 today. Mostly just sitting in the cafe coffee shops, um, buying coffee and other food items. I'm a little stressed. That's probably why. Um, Basically, since I couldn't go back to my other spot, I didn't. I'd stayed where I normally stay to do internet stuff and upload or you know waste or waste time or spend time or whatever. Waste time mostly, but so yeah, I didn't go to sleep last night. Drinking caffeine and keep trying to keep. I don't know. Just I kept on feeding myself, whether it's protein, very little protein. Mostly carbohydrates, unfortunately, or well, mostly carbohydrates. Um, Last night I did look at local motels, and their daily and weekly rates goes from anywhere from like $50 to like $70 for a night. I'm used to staying in some pretty classy hotels, but even then, $50 to $70 a night. Uh, Even for a week long period, that's about 200 or so dollars, maybe 400. That divided over 4 weeks, that's literally more than you'd pay rent for like even a 4 bedroom, even like uptown. Uptown, it's like for one bedroom, it's like $1,200. But anyways, yeah. So I'd say that being a feasible option. I thought I might find some businesses or jobs over that way, that side of town. If I risk staying in one of those motels, clean up a little bit, then go for an interview over there or something like that. Call around, see who's looking for work or whatever. Um, that basically so I got up. I mean, I was still up. I've been up this whole time. Went to the local one of the local cafes, coffee shops. Anyways, and sat there from about 8, 9 in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then went over to another coffee shop to spend the rest of the evening before going to the local grocery store and getting some whole grain crackers, some cheese dip, protein, fats, as well as the whole grains. So I've been eating too many carbs, too many sugar filled carbs and stuff, and so I need some whole grains to kind of balance out the digestive system and stuff. But anyways, so did that. Oh yeah, and while I was first thing I started doing when I got into the coffee shop this morning, started looking on Craigslist for jobs. Uh, Found out there's a lot of delivery jobs, a lot of CDL like trucking jobs and stuff like that on Craigslist. Some other odd jobs or odds and ends here and there. Found some restaurant work, things like that. Nothing within walking distance. I'm trying not to walk too far. I'd rather be closer to where I'm working, just because. Well, I don't want to stress myself out with working, especially if in the middle of the summer, it's like 90 some degrees and I'm like walking on concrete, asphalt, whatever else with some running shoes that aren't really meant to walk on that kind of stuff. Plus, like uh, while losing my rental, I had one other job that was about a mile away from, and I had that job for about a month, and then I got a second job on top of that, and so from walking from waking up in the morning, going to that job about a mile away, before I even had the other job, and then I don't know, just in the 97 degrees, just how hot it was outside. It stressed me out more, it made me more miserable, it made me smell so much worse. And then, when I got my second job, I had to come into the second job. Just it wasn't good. So I didn't want to get a job that was too, even though it might seem like maybe 10, not even 10 minute drive, like a five to 10 minute, maybe 10 minute drive, from here to where I would have gotten a job, over in the one of the neighborhoods over or whatever, a couple neighborhoods over. the it just wouldn't have. I don't know. Plus, that area of town is a little more high class, and I'm very limited on clothing as well as like hygiene things like that. So I didn't want to go into those high class places and smell up or look bad or whatever else. And so I didn't. I don't want to risk that either. As much as they pay better, and I could probably fit in and do well. I don't have the clothing for it, and I just I basically I can't present my full potential just because one, I don't have good clean clothes. Two, I probably don't have the presentable clothes. I mean, I'm sure I do. I could even order some more online. But three, just the hygiene overall, and then walking that long trek back to where I was staying, from over there. I mean, I've thought about it before. Like if I found a place to sleep, in that area, in that side of town, and I couldn't think of any places that I'd be able to sleep. Um, I mean, to be close to work, whatever else. Yeah, I couldn't think of any places. Um, so that was a no go. I mean, even if I found a place, like I said, hygiene, clothes, etc. But anyways, I mean, there's been a lot of, there's been enough postings of like restaurant jobs and whatnot, or other jobs, whatever. Um, so I didn't even bother applying to those because again, those are also high class jobs or higher establishments. Um, I applied to some delivery positions where they would give you a box truck or one of those courier vans or whatever else, and like you deliver whatever, and you're independent contractor, etc., etc. And I went and bought a copy of my DMV report for my driving record, which, like I said before, isn't the best. I wanted to see what I might qualify for, and as well as I have the specific reports of a couple of events that weren't my fault, so that, like I could inform whatever employer, hey, these are the accidents that aren't my fault, so you can go ahead and not have to worry about those. Most of the issues with getting jobs for commercial companies is the insurance. That's why they have limits set for how many violations of what you can have on your driving record for like a 3 year, 2 year, whatever period because of commercial insurance. That's usually why they're pretty strict, but for good reason, I guess. But anyways, yeah. So submitted that. I actually talked to some of the people that I applied for on Craigslist, or some of the companies. Sent all the information, the reports, as well as the DMV report, as well as picture of my license, things like that, over to them. Then got a call back from the original place that I've been waiting on a response from. They talked to me, and they said, "Hey, we want you to work up here, near Walmart." And I'm like, "That's like it's too far from me. Realistically, it's 5 miles away. I don't have a car, so it's not like I can drive over there and back and forth, where I'm staying or whatever else to go over there. But even more so, again, I can't think of any places that I can sleep over there. If that was the case, if I knew some place I could sleep over there, then I could go take the job over there because they even said it was a full-time position, which would be awesome, and it would be close. I wouldn't have to pay for a Lyft or whatever else to get my medicine anymore. I could just walk to Walmart or whatever. So that was the other issue. Um, yeah, but the lady said that, hey, I'll talk to whoever and see what we can do about getting position in place the location you applied for. So I talked to they called me that location, and so I'll be going to see them tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And they asked if I want part time, full time. I said I want full time, but I'll take whatever hours. So we'll see what happens there. It might get to the point where they might because I have previous experience in the field, and I guess they have a pretty decent turnover rate. They might consolidate some of the guys they have at that location to a different location so that they can have me work there, because I'm sure they need experienced people. But yeah, And but if I get a job at this place, it'll still be within walking distance of where the kind of the area that I'm in. So yeah, the that's just kind of what I'm dealing with, and like I said, I didn't go to sleep at all last night. I just stayed up watching stuff. But I mean, I didn't know where I could or what I could do to sleep. I didn't have any plans or anything else like that. I initially thought that I might go and rent a motel room for the night or something like that, and go to some interviews like tomorrow or something like that. But I didn't even bother to call those places. The places that I knew of in that area where the motel was, to apply. Mostly because I'm still following through this stuff on Craigslist. Just take one step at a time. And I mean, a lot of the restaurant or a lot of the places posted on Craigslist, so I got some replies back and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. Taking things one step at a time, and I know I need to spend less money. Nickel and diming myself to death at this point. I need to stop and just conserve, because it's the only way that I'm going to make this stuff last and worry about not being stressed. But, making myself calm down and not frantically spend money. The other thing, too, is the more I'm spending time in a place, the more, since I obviously don't have a job, I feel like I'm more of a burden or whatever. I'm just hanging around loitering, whatever else. And I don't want to be that guy. It just kind of weighs down on you. So I find myself spending more money, just because I don't want to, I don't want to just sit and loiter, unless I really have no options, like I don't have any cash, whatever. But I don't want the employees to just keep on looking at me and like wondering, hey, why is this guy just like chilling here or whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. Me personally, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to be looked at. I'm the kind of quiet person usually. If I start talking, it's because I'm nervous or whatever else, but I'm usually pretty quiet. I talk out of like nervousness, and I mean, when I have my own place, and I mean, few words say a lot. As you become older, a few words say a lot. You don't have to say very much. And the more people become or turn into adults, the more they realize that actions speak for themselves, and that's why there's not really need to talk a lot. But I don't know, just oh yeah, and then one of the local apartments that I saw was like $1,200, starting at about $1,200, and they required about two and a half. They required that you make 2.5 times the amount of rent per month. So that would mean, the place that I looked at, that would mean that I would have to be making around $18 an hour, $19 an hour basically, in order to qualify for it. Then they do a credit check and a background criminal check, whatever else. And that's fine. The credit check is what would mess me up. So before I could get an apartment, I would need to pay off whatever outstanding debts I have, which isn't too many. I mean, for somebody who doesn't have a job, it's not, they're not that big of debts or anything like that. I do have the school loans that I still have to pay off, or the school grants, loans, whatever loans. I have to pay those off, and then credit card, uh, car insurance, credit card bill, phone bill, previous apartment. So we'll see about that. And yeah, pay those off, get a car, and yeah. But I mean, if I could find a job that pays about $20 an hour, then I could hopefully get an apartment. It's not bad. I mean, the fact that I can get an apartment if I'm making $20 an hour, in a nicer area, a decent apartment, it's not too bad, honestly. I'm not thinking about my internet bill or electricity or whatever else, or car insurance. I'm just taking things one step at a time. Get a car. Uh, what's it called? Yeah, get a car, get a place, and then start like working from there. And it may not be get a place directly immediately. Get a car first before, but if I can save on expenses and not spend as much as I've been spending because of stress or whatever. And then hopefully I can save up for a car sooner. Um, and if I'm able, get 2 jobs, save up faster. And if I have 2 jobs and I can prove that I'm making about $20 an hour, I might be able to get a place sooner. We'll see. I still have to pay off all the credit stuff, but still.